Welcome to Atikin Plays Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. All right, hi, this is Atikin, and welcome to Series 3, Episode 2 of Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. And in Episode 1, I had set up this, what was going to be the beginning of our new republic. And we had set up coal up here on this mountain, had a beautiful spot for coal. And the plan was to run coal down the mountain, coal ore down the mountainside, process it down in here, have power plants, export some power, and then go from there and try to get into construction management as quickly as possible. And as you know, it's been quite a while since I've done one of these videos. So let me take just a quick moment and explain what caused the delay. Well, the biggest thing was I am really I really like time-boxed, task-driven missions and scenarios. I really like to have something challenge me and say, okay, all right, Atikin, let's see you do this by this date and make so much money or whatever. And this game is really an open-ended city builder at the end of the day. That's what it is. And the thing of it is, though, the reason I keep playing it is it's such a good city builder. It's the best one I've ever played, I think. But then again, that's not my thing. So others of you might have a different opinion. Doesn't matter. To me, this is a really good city builder game. But I don't really like them. They're boring. You just keep going on and on and on. So I'm going to set some goals for us. And the other thing is I'm going to play this the way I like to play. And the way I like to play, I like tycoon games. So we're going to make money on this thing. I know we're supposed to be socialist. I know we're not supposed to care about money. That's a flipping lie if somebody thinks a socialist doesn't care about making a profit. And if you think a major country doesn't care about making money, you need to take your blinders off. But anyway, here's what we're going to have set up here eventually. I say eventually because this is not where we're going to go first. We're going to have coal. We're going to have gravel. We've got a beautiful spot right here to get stone. I eventually see a gravel processing plant with some storage and loading, and probably use the coal, as I said, for power, but also to make bricks. And we'll set up asphalt and concrete, and we'll have multiple construction offices going down here. And the idea will be to build all of this out from scratch with construction, including the railroads. And those of you who remember the last episode will recall that there used to be tracks running through here, out through here, that were intended for a passenger line. And there were tracks running through here, out of this warehouse right here, that were intended to be a freight line. And that'll come back later. But I made sure I took those out of the plan because you're going to see what we're going to do, and I didn't want to pay for building those tracks when I had no intention of using them for quite a while. But anyway, at any rate, eventually we're going to get back to this location, and we're going to kind of think of this as our capital. So what we're going to kind of do is use construction to build all this, and I think it'll be pretty cool when we get it going. And we're going to build maybe a university will go here, certainly like a radio station or TV station. The Center for the Communist Party will be here. So there'll be some higher education here. There'll be some brainwashing stuff going on here. So this will be kind of our capital city. But what I want to do first, before we get into any kind of using the construction mechanisms, I want us to make some money. I want to make sure that we're solid financially. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start right up here, just outside Caradabag. We've got this beautiful large import-export center right here in Caradabag. And we're going to set up a little town here, a little neighborhood that's going to support 4 distilleries. So we're going to have 4 distilleries going, and they're going to produce alcohol. In our case, of course, vodka. We're going to make vodka, and we're going to export vodka to the rest of the Soviet Union. And that's going to make us some pretty doggone good money. So what I've got here is a design for a a single neighborhood that will support all 4 of those distilleries. And I wanted to walk through that with you for 2 reasons. One, I think it's very good review of the fundamentals of the game. To me, the real fundamentals of how to play the game at the hardest settings. Now, keep in mind, if you don't play the hardest settings, it kind of doesn't matter what. You just do whatever you want to do. But if you're going to play at the hardest settings, you need to keep in mind the happiness of your people. You need to make some money. You got to have some kind of income, and at least until you get into true self-sufficiency, and you have to be very efficient in the way you use things. So here's what we're going to do. This neighborhood is designed. I know it looks like just a random mess, but trust me, it isn't. It may be a mess, but it's not random. It's designed so that every person does everything they need to do walking. The only exceptions, we will have ambulances for our hospital to pick up the critically ill, and we'll have fire trucks in our fire station to put out fires and to keep people safe. So health and safety will occasionally take a ride. Everything else is walking. There'll be no buses. The only train will be a train to make deliveries of our alcohol to Caradabag, just because it is, to me, very inefficient to try to use trucks to do your exports. They just pile up here, and they're very slow. One big train, to me, is the way to go. Plus, I like trains, don't we all? So we're going to run electric trains, so we don't have to worry about multiple diesel stops all over the place. And we're going to really use Machinke loops for our trains. This may not look like one, but I'm thinking of this as a Machinke loop. And this down here is kind of our workers and resources variant, where you have the chain signal looking into 3 sites so that we can use all 3 of those eventually. Of course, right now we only need 1. So the 3 is really overkill. And also notice that we've got our depot tucked away down here, where it's just going to feed into one of the lines out of Caradabag, and that depot will service our entire map as we expand. So let me walk you through this as a really review for me, because I haven't played the game in a while, and I've kind of forgotten some things. The other reason I wanted to explain, or the other thing I wanted to say about why I haven't been playing this game, is Railroad Corporation came out, and that's really my cup of tea. Trains, I do like trains, I have to admit. I wasn't a train guy before I started playing Railway Empire, but I do like trains now. It has trains, and it is a tycoon game, and it's time boxed and scenario driven. Ta-da! Right in my wheelhouse. Just the kind of game I like. So I went off and obsessed with that for a little while, and made probably more videos than it right now deserves, because it's early access and has its issues it needs to work through. But I can say this quickly as an aside: if they get it right, it could be a really good game, at least for me, and one I would really enjoy playing. So let's get back to workers and resources. So let's review kind of the key components of this design. First of all, I did use my spreadsheet to kind of calculate how the number of flats I needed and the plan. So we've got 4 distilleries. They're going to run 3 shifts. They need 100. What do they need? I've forgotten now. Distilleries need 100 workers, so that's 300. We need like 1,200 workers to keep these things truly running. And right now, we probably need about 15 flats. I've got 13 in here. We're going to look at this and see how this all goes. We can't build them all at once anyway. We won't have enough money. And then we've got room we can add some flats, and if we have to, we'll add flats and put in bus service to allow expansion to further staff the distilleries. But at any rate, the walkers we have right now should be pretty good. So we've got should be excellent, actually. So the key thing here is all the flats. I'm using these prefab 97 people flats. So all these flats need to be able to walk to 3 things, and that's all. If they can, to start with, if they can get to these 3 things, they're good. First one is this. This is that we're using a small shopping center. This could be a grocery store, or it could be the full-size shopping center. But the idea is that when a citizen an adult goes into free time, they have 16 hours of free time. And once that clock starts ticking, you'll see their needs. And once the first need you will always see is food. So the first place they're going to go or try to get to is where they buy the food. And that's right here. If we can get all these flats to this shopping center, and you'll notice if we look at the walking, every flat can walk to the shopping center. If everybody can walk to the shopping center, then all you have to do from there, as far as their free time, now the other things they'll need on free time would be pub, cinema, hospital to see the doctor, and parks, and to get sports and activity, and praying, which we can't do. We can't build churches, so when they have to pray or they want to pray, they're just going to have to get over it and move on. So the thing is, though, if they can walk to here, if from here, once they finish their shopping, they'll get food and clothing, electronics, and meat at the shopping center. Now, if they can walk to the pub, the cinema, and the hospital, ta-da, we're all set. And they can. If you look at this one and look out here, they can walk to this building, that's the cinema. They can walk to this building, that's the pub. And they can walk to this one, that's the hospital. So that means that anybody, any adult who's on free time can walk to here and then walk to everything else they need. So over time, as they get rid of that urge to pray, we're going to be able to get really, really happy people here. And no buses, no expense, no traffic, just people walking everywhere. That's first part of the design. Now the second building, besides the food source, the second place they need to be able to go, I got to get this down a little so I can click on it. There we go. They need to all be able to go to a kindergarten so that if they have children at home, they can drop them off so that they can go to work. Well, if we look at our kindergarten, the design is so that every flat can walk to the kindergarten. So we're cool on that. And then the third and final thing is any students that live in any of these flats need to be able to walk to the school. The school is right here. And if we look at the school, sure enough, all of our flats can walk to the school. So we should be able to walk everywhere we need to go in this, to the workplaces, to our shopping, to the hospital, to the pub, to the cinema, to the school, to the kindergarten. Everybody walks. We don't have to get the fuel for all those extra vehicles. We do need gas, however. We will need this gas station here because of the ambulances and the fire trucks. Other than that, we're cool. And the other thing I'm really going to do sincerely in this one, something I didn't do in the first two playthroughs and kept paying for it sometimes with a lot of money and a lot of pain, is we will have fire protection on everything, which means that everything that could catch fire, like substations and transformers and electrical connections for your railroad and all that good stuff, depots, whatever, they're all going to have road connections and be in range of the fire station, so that when we get these fire messages, we're just going to mostly ignore them because we'll know we've got it covered. All right, so that's the basic design. I think what I'd like to do in this session is build it out. And what we're going to do is think about, well, what do we have to have, and build those things first and just build a few. So we're going to build, we know, and we're going to use our dollars as long as they'll hang in there. We're going to use the dollars first because all of our importing was going to be done in rubles. So we're going to build that shopping center. We're going to build some flats right around it. We're going to build actually the rest of the things they need to be happy. We're going to build the cinema and the pub. And we've got everything set to auto import right off the bat. We are going to build the hospital. People are going to get sick fairly quickly on us. Let's see, how are we looking? Well, let's see. And there's no point in doing any of this if we're not going to make any money. Let's build at least one distillery. And we're not going to make any money if we can't send the stuff out. And we can't send the stuff out if we don't have a train line. So that one's going to be a big expense, $109,000. Let's build the rest of this and see how much money we have left. $44, and we didn't even finish everything. Okay, so we're done with dollars. So this guy didn't get finished, so we'll cancel the dollars and do it in rubles. We'll cancel the dollars and do it in rubles. And cancel the dollars and do it in rubles. All right, go. Okay, now we need our railroad tracks. We'll fund those in rubles. Not bad, not bad. And we need a depot where we can't get any trains, and we're going to need that connection right there. So we're going to go back into connections here and auto build those connections. All right. All right, so okay, pause un momento. This is limiting us. Oh, the cold store and the warehouse are two different things. Excuse me. No, this is all cool. We're getting everything. We're getting this missing message, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Okay. What we're going to have to do now, we're going to have to import buildings without power supply. How is that true? I did build the power. He has no power. We're missing this transformer right here. I built most of the power. All right, let's see if we have power now. Yes. That message must be that's an old message, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, he's got power. All right, good. All right, our city is powered, our little town. By the way, we're importing power, obviously, from over here in Kaizina. And let's see. We'll hold off on the fire for a minute. How are we looking? Oh, we're looking pretty good. We need a train. And I don't think there's any train. A cement tank. No, thank you. All right. So we need an electric locomotive, the cheapest thing we can find. And we need cargo wagons, box cars that hold alcohol. Let's just run 6 will do. And now if I can remember how to set up a line, I want to tell it to go here and here. And here I want it to wait until it's loaded with alcohol. And here I want to unload completely. Go. Well, listen to that. As our train rolls out, now we need to set up imports of crops. We're going to import crops. That way this distillery can get crops. And I'm not seeing any crops in there. Why am I not seeing any crops? You have crops. You import crops. All right. Now we're starting to make alcohol. And it should be going back here. All right, we've got more money than I would have could have hoped for. So let's start another. Well, we don't need another distillery. We need people, more people. And we do need our kindergarten and our school to keep those school kids happy and keep people working. And look at that, we're starting to get alcohol. Now, one thing I do not like is this road running here. That could cause issues with our fire protection later and cause us to have to micromanage this and move that train out of the way, which I do not want to do long term. So we can think about that later on. But for now, I think we're looking pretty good. And we do want to limit the number of folks in our hospital does not need to have a giant staff in it. And 5 educated. There, we got some doctors. And let's get an ambulance before we forget about it. Okay. And later on, I'll talk about an improvement opportunity, I think, in terms of the hospitals. But for now, we'll just say we've got one. It's here close by, and we're looking fine. Notice we got primitive roads right now. We don't need anything better. Now these flats are very expensive, not to build them, but to recruit all the people is what's costing the money. How are we looking? As soon as we get this one up to we're running 80 or 90 at a time, when we're pretty close to there now, we will think about another distillery. But in the meantime, and as long as we have some money, we'll just get more people. We definitely want to get a little bit of sports activity going here too. Got a couple of football fields and a tennis court. And no, Questlove, one of my goals is not going to be to build 1,000 tennis courts. Sorry. Great idea, but not going to happen. We got people drinking. We got people watching movies. We've got plenty of doctors. No sick people yet. We got lots of people shopping, getting food and clothing and electronics and meat. Unemployed workers, 328. Not much to say right now. We don't have enough money to really do anything else. 73. Each one of these is going to be worth about 75,000, no, 20, about 60,000 rubles, which will be decent, but not great. I'm estimating once this is completely operational, we'll get about, let's say about 60 to 80,000 rubles a month in trade surplus, or as we capitalist pigs would call it, profit. Oh, and while we're waiting, let's go ahead and put in some nice trees. Well, that's much better than that one at a time deal, isn't it? There we go. There, we're starting to support 2 at 70. Now, our goal with this one here is obviously we want it to make money, but we want it to be self-sustaining. We want it to be able to take care of itself, support itself financially. In other words, cover all the debt we incur by importing all the goods that people are taking in, and keep everybody happy so we're not losing people. And then as we get births, educating them to turn them into workers so that our births and our new workers are outstripping our deaths, so that we can keep growing this and keep getting more and more people in this and start running this up to where we can have 4 distilleries running close to 100. Right now we're doing a decent job on all 3 of them. And of course what we want to do next to make this profit even bigger is to grow our own crops, which is easy. And I would just go ahead and do that, but the money's really tight, so I want to see an export or 2 before I get into that world. But we could build crops even close by, a nice farm nearby, and the farm could deliver directly to the warehouse by road, and that would give us the ability to feed these distilleries without importing the crops, and that would make our margins higher and make us more profitable, and that's where we want to go. How are we doing? 43, 57, 62. See, now the thing is, all these flats can't walk to all these places. So like this flat out here pretty much has to work down in here, with this exception. Now these can work further up. So as we get all these opened up, what we should see, and we could go through and actually designate them and kind of force them to be a certain way, but what we should see is that these people will tend to go up here to work. These people will tend to go up here, and that way the people that are down here, the kind of lower ones, will tend to work in our support buildings. And if that isn't the case, we'll force that to happen later on. But right now I want to see if it won't just kind of naturally happen. Because remember, when these people get up to go to work, well, it's time for their work shift. And by the way, they don't work in shifts. Each individual has their own shift, their own timing. And when a person gets up and it's his time to start his 8-hour work, he just goes to work somewhere. If he worked here, his last shift, that doesn't mean he'll work. He might work in the here or the hospital the next time. You don't know. It depends on what he's qualified for. So what you're trying to do is build your housing so that it supports your industries, and you'll kind of should get a natural flow. And here we go, our first export. Nice. And we're seeing some money coming in for a change. And we had a tiny little bit waiting for him when he got back. All right, good deal. So let's stop right there. Well, you know what? No, let's do one more thing, just to be thorough. Let's go ahead and build our fire station. And give it 1 fire truck. And I tend to use the best one good fire truck. There we go. All right, so now we have fire protection. You can see the range of the fire station. It's huge. We were not going to ask it to cover that much, but we will fix it so that it can cover the first farm that we set up to support this in our next episode. All right, so we've got ourselves we've got 4 distilleries working. We should be seeing, see, that's not a lot of people in each one. We should be seeing more people. And again, if we've got these people happy, if we've got adequate school, and kindergarten, then what will happen is our workforce will grow, because we're not maxed out in any of these, of course. We didn't initially recruit a maximum. And we could go out and recruit some more people, but that's an extremely expensive process. The more cost-effective process is to grow those people as your population ages and becomes school age. Then they go to school, then they graduate from school, and they become eligible workers, and they move into the workforce. And you see the number of people working in your plants going up. Now, given where we are right now, in hindsight, I would probably not have, maybe only have two of these four working. In fact, we could do that and cut down on the cost a little, but it doesn't change things a ton, because the power it's drawing is not that much. I mean, the factories don't draw a surprisingly small amount of power. That's the only additional cost they're running up for us. And the people, if they work in these two or they work in these four, it's all pretty much the same. Because as long as they can get to work, they'll get to work. And then when it's time for their free time, they'll just sort of magically end up in their flats, and then their free time will start, and they'll walk to the store, and everything will start all over. How are we doing? Okay, we're looking all right. So let's stop right there and consider this a potential success. Can't quite declare it success yet. Margins are not great on alcohol compared to a refinery, but I just wanted to start with something different and something maybe a little bit easier to set up. So let's start, and also something that this whole build is really, once we get these things fully filled up with people, there will be enough people in these buildings. And look at our happiness. See, it's almost about to peak here already. And that'll just keep continuing to improve. We should be able to, there we go. That's the kind of happiness we should be seeing pretty much consistently all the time now, because we've got the infrastructure in place these folks need. All right, let's in the next one, we will get some crops going, I think, and start improving the margins on what we've already invested in here. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Workers and Resources Soviet Republic video. Thank you.